Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we're working on Jeepy. Jeepy is my 2007 Jeep Wrangler. It's my daily driver and it's also our towed or our tow vehicle for the RV. Today I'm going to replace the tie rod end. It's at the end of the drag link, so not one of the tie rods at the end, but the one that's into the drag link that attaches to the pitman arm at the steering box. And then while I'm doing that, I'm also going to replace the steering damper that hopefully will help just make it more stable while we're towing it back there behind the RV. I don't know if it's bad. I was hoping to actually buy one after I took the drag link tie rod end off, but they weren't in stock at the local parts store, so I just went ahead and ordered on Amazon since it was like half the price. So, all right, now we're here with Cole. Cole's gonna go ahead and turn the steering wheel back and forth, and we'll get you underneath the vehicle and we'll show you what's wrong with that tie rod end. All right, Cole, go ahead. All right. I don't know if you can hear it, but keep doing that, Cole. Just keep going. So I think you should be able to see right here this movement in this pitman arm. So this is the problem. This tie rod end here is what's causing. Keep going, Cole. So not long ago I've replaced the ball joints. They're in good shape. This one's tight. No movement there. No movement in any of the other tie rod ends or the other drag link components. So yeah, we're gonna pull this one out, and then I'm gonna pull out the steering damper. So the steering damper is gonna come out, this tie rod's gonna come out, and then I'm gonna show you how to align it with just a tape measure in the garage. So clearly you can see that drag link, that tie rod end drag link is bad. So we are gonna replace that here in a second. But one of the other things I wanted to show you, I don't know if you'll be able to see it very well, the inside edge of this tire is wearing more, the outside edge of this tire is wearing more than the inside edge. I did do a toe check, and it's towed in about 1/4 of an inch. So typically, you know, most passenger cars, the setting that I remember is about 1/16 of an inch of toe. The bigger the tires on trucks like this, I usually like to set them closer to 0 just because you can feel the big tires. The big tires do affect how it drives. So OEM wheels, if you look at the OEM specs, I could look this up, they're typically between 1/16 of an eighth and an eighth of an inch. I want this to be closer to 1/16 or 0. So I will make that setting, and I'll show you how I do it with just a tape measure. I did alignments professionally for 2 or 3 years of the 6 years that I worked at an auto shop, and I used a tape measure most of the time without having any come back and need to be repaired or reworked on. And I'll show you how to do this with just a tape measure and the tools that you're going to need to simply adjust the parts underneath and loosen them and adjust them. So let's get to it, and then we'll set this toe. All right, so what I will show you, what I have done is I've gone ahead and laid out all the tools here. So I've got the wrenches I need and the sockets I'll need. I've got a pipe wrench to adjust the toe when we get to that, cordless impact wrench, a couple of pickle forks, and a hammer. All right, now that I got you in here, I am going to pull this jam nut free, and then I'm going to pull this isn't actually a castle nut, this is looks like a nylon lock washer. We're going to drop this down, and then we're going to twist it out. And you can count the threads, but the threads are not always going to be the same or the same length. So what I like to do is I'm going to use the end, this jam shackle here, and then I'm going to go to the center of the drag link. So the center of the drag link, if I go to the bottom, obviously you can center it on the bottom of that tie rod. But if we go to the edge of this jam or this pinch thing here, I think 4 3/4. This is a little better. 4 3/4. Tape measures level. This guy's level. So 4 3/4. Hopefully you guys remember that. My memory's terrible. It's just a 15 millimeter. That guy's loose. And this is a 21 millimeter. Everything's metric on these. I don't know why, but oh, wow, that actually went pretty well. So make sure all right, that's great. So one of the things you want to obviously you hope that the bolt isn't spinning with the nut. There are some tricks. So if this bolt was spinning with this nut and I couldn't get it off, what I would do is probably put a jack, if I can get the jack up to here, or put a piece of wood or an extension, obviously, so the jack doesn't have to go to full travel, depending on if your jack can reach here, and put pressure, upward pressure on this tie rod into this pitman arm, because it's hard to see here. You can see it, I think. This is a tapered shaft, and the hole is tapered. So if you jam that taper up into it, then it's going to make sure that taper doesn't go anywhere and it doesn't move. So you'd be able to actually twist this off, and hopefully it would work. You know, feeling the top, this one is not. We'll pull it down. Sometimes they actually shape an Allen key or an Allen shape into there, so you can put an Allen wrench in there. There's not a lot of room here. It would be really nice if you could either twist this, or if I could get an air tool or electric tool or impact on this, but it's pretty tight, so I'm not quite going to get it. Man. Injury. All right, guys, I want to bring you back here. I did have to move the pitman arm a little bit. This nut, apparently it has 2,373 miles of threads, and they're ridiculously tight as soon as you get to the top. So I thought we'd be past the lock washer part of it already, but it just got tighter at the top, and getting that wrench in there is a pain. You can turn it a quarter at a time. I can't get my awesome massive ratchet in there because it won't fit on that nut. So I just continue to go like a quarter of a turn, or you know, 1/16 of an inch at a time with this stupid wrench. My stupid, oh, that bigger wrench there hit me in the face. Holy cow. Why would you make such a thing? All right, it's now 10 minutes later, and I think I've almost got this stupid bolt. I swear this has not come off yet. I don't know what is going on with it, why it's on here so tight. Maybe it's just because of the age, but yeah, I mean, it's just a bolt. I mean, it's got a lot of, I have no idea if you can see that, probably not. Turn the light towards it. Let's see. There is some there are some threads kind of messed up inside of there, so I don't know. You know, the old school trick is to hit here right at the pitman arm and watch this fall down, and that should work. I told you I'm forgetful. So all right, 4 3/4 the center of that. The old school trick is to hit it right here on the pitman arm. So if you're doing the tie rod, you hit it here on the top, this metal part where the bolt goes through. If you're going to save it, if you're saving on a part, you want to go ahead and thread that bolt back on there so you don't damage it. But it is pretty tight in here. I can't get in there good enough, so I'm going to use a pick or fork. Come on! Come on! How are you not down yet? What is your malfunction? Bigger pickle fork did it. Let's go right for the pipe wrench. How about that? Oh yeah, this pipe wrench is the trick. Never sees. So we're gonna go ahead and never sees this up really well. Amazingly, it came out pretty good. That surprised me. I'm gonna go ahead and put a little bit of never sees, anti-seize on this guy. It's already on there. And we're gonna hope that the threads were correct. All right, so we're twisted in here nicely. Take the measurement. It's right at 4 3/4, and there we go. Now we have a castle nut and a cotter pin, so it's good. All right, so this drag link tie rod end is in and it's greased. Changed my gloves because the other one's ripped. See the grease there? Castle nut, cotter pin are in, and I've tightened down the jam there. So now we're going to go ahead and hope that the bolts for this steering damper don't give us as much problems. All right, guys. Well, I spent some money on a few things, and ratcheting 18 millimeter. Oh, thank you for being in my toolbox today. I don't need the hardware kit that came with. Are you really serious? Are you kidding me? Are you serious right now? What in the devil? You see this? Do you see that? Can you just look at it? The whole drag link is in the way. All right, I'll find a solution and we'll come back to this. I don't even know if you can see this bracket. It's bent slightly. So I just took the steering damper and just bent it so that it bent the bolt bracket and was just enough to slide it through. So I think I should be able to pull that back in, but yeah, how stupid. All right, I got that one in. Oh, come on. There we go. All right. All right, steering damper's in. I'll tighten these bolts down and we'll finish up here. Tightening it up. Put that right back into place. The proper way to do this would probably be to just drop this. If you got the wheels off, just drop this tie rod over here, and it should drop this out of the way so you can slide that bolt out. But this worked, so I didn't have to take the wheels off. Everything's tightened down. I did just loosen this jam nut, this pinch guy here, and I've gone ahead and straightened the steering wheel out. So I'm going to attempt to loosen, twist this guy, this other little threaded jam thing. That's going to adjust our toe. This is what I was hoping to not have to need heat because I don't have gas for my torch. Let's try this. I don't think that twists it at all. Come on, man. That's not the center. Get you in the center there. All right, I'll keep trying some things and we'll bring you back when we're ready. It was a fun project to say the least, because of I think just because of its age, and this is all original. So like you saw, I used pipe wrench and the jack. So after I went to charge the camera, I went ahead and did the same thing again. Put the pipe wrench on it. I actually went down a little bit, put the pipe wrench on it. I used the hammer and I hit here and hit here. Just hit it a bit too. You know, just when in doubt, beat it out. Beat it with a hammer. And then actually twisting up, so making this go right. So if you'll twist this this jam nut to the right, so up, which would be like righty-tighty, it's a right hand threaded. So as you go right hand, it pulls this drag link into it. Or tie rod, what is it called in the stupid Jeep? But it pulls it into it. And then that actually pulls the front of the wheels in. So in the back of the wheels, we were a 1/4 inch farther than the front. So now we're at about a 1/16 of an inch. What I did, and I'll show you here. So on this tire tread pattern, let me get the light over here so it's maybe a little better, easier to see. So on this tire tread pattern, it's got some really good edges, really good points that you can measure off of. So when I was doing alignments, we had an old FMC machine, and the sensors on the toe were always broken. It never worked. So I used a tape measure. I had a really good small tape measure like this, and we crushed out alignments perfectly with perfectly straight wheels with a tape measure. I would say 99% of them that I did were with a tape measure, and they never came back. They were really well. So this is how I do it. What I did here, because my 12-year-old helped me, was I went ahead and put a little bit of chalk at the corner. So all I did was kind of like the hang loose, you know, kind of measured it right there loosely, and then I marked the farthest out point. And then I did that on the back side, hung loose, found the closest point, did that again, and then it might be harder to see, but over there on that side, I did the same exact thing. I get this tape measure on this point, so it's on that point, and I'll show you over here, and then I come over to this one, and I measure this point. This one is at 71 1/8. So I don't know if you can see it there, 71 1/8, right at the point of that tread. That's what we did in the back, and then we did that on the front. And what's important here is to make sure you're level, right? So if your camber is off, caster doesn't matter so much. But if your camber's off, as long as you're doing it level, you're going to have it at the same spot in the front and the back of the tires. But basically, from this side here, what it looked like is we just centered the tape measure up on that dot. You know, you could do it up here on any one of these that you pick, as long as you're level on the other side. So you do that on the back, you do that on the front, and obviously you want it the farthest out point, not in and then out. It just makes sense. This one, it mirrors the other side. And I'm telling you, I did this for 2 years and it worked great. So I just did this and it worked good. I'm going to take this for a drive. I'm sure it's going to be better. We'll see if that steering damper makes a difference. That's it for GP for today. That's it for this project. We got a couple more things to do. This Jeep has a nice check engine light. There's some other stuff on it that I want to get done, but this is the first thing that needed to get done. We'll see how it rides, and hopefully no problems from here on out. So hey, thanks for watching. Thanks for sticking around this long, and we'll see you next time.